In 2010 in Chongwe, a man named David Monze fell in love and married a woman named Constantine Hamwata. Immediately after David met Mr. Hamwata, he also met hatred like he's never seen before. Mr. Hamwata turned out to just hate David for whatever reason. He never found out the reason. And subsequently, 5 years later, Mr. Hamwata had managed to convince her to divorce David for whatever reason. David did not sit well with this divorce because his life had just started off and he just married for 5 years. Now it feels like he's just wasted all that 5 years. And this was actually his love of life. His heart was broken. He did not mind. However, he let it pass and he came back to his businesses. He had tried all the best to remain a faithful, loyal, respectful, and providing husband. But there he was receiving a heartbreak. David thought this is the time he can even focus on his businesses and make them grow. So he got back into his grocery shop. 8 months later, he was working in his grocery shop, receiving his customers to buy their groceries when he saw Mr. Hamwata coming like a customer to David's store. Now this had been 8 months after their divorce, and he did not understand why Mr. Hamwata was coming to his place because he thought it has ended already. Now he assumed maybe Mr. Hamwata was coming to apologize to him because he was in the wrong. He clearly knows that. But when Mr. Hamwata reached inside the store where David was, immediately saw that this man was not happy. He was annoyed for whatever reason. He did not even apologize. He just began hurling cases at David for things that had happened 8 months ago in their marriage between David and Constantine. Now David was confused. What are we doing here? But one thing was for sure, Mr. Hamwata was not there for peace. David began also trying to defend his store because this is almost like his house. He's in a store working. Now this man has come to threaten him. He began shouting at Mr. Hamwata, telling him to leave the store. And customers that were coming now were scared to buy things from David's grocery store because there was chaos going on. He was trying to chase Mr. Hamwata, but Mr. Hamwata did not go anywhere. Instead, he responded to David with punching David thoroughly and hard in the face. Now, David is younger and quite smaller than Mr. Hamwata. So he knew this fist fight was going to be a lose for him. Just for context, you need to know that David grew up in Chongwe farms. So he's been cutting trees all his life with an axe. He's proficient with using an axe, and now all this while he's been using axes. He almost feels like an axe is an extension of his hand. And it's just the same like someone who's in the kitchen, and they'll be good at using a knife, and if you were to attack them in the kitchen where they were using knives, they are most likely going to use a knife to defend themselves. At David in the store, he had an axe. Robbers, thieves, they usually attack grocery stores, and he had an axe just to prepare himself in case there's some confusion going on. Thieves have attacked him. He can at least use that axe to defend himself. And now he was in a fist fight with this big man who was clearly pounding the hell out of him. The more he tried to fist fight with Mr. Hamwata, the more he realized that he's just bringing a knife to a gunfight. He's going to lose. That's how he just scrambled for the axe, found it. First, he threatened Mr. Hamwata that just leave, big man, otherwise I'm not afraid to use this axe and I'll mess you up. But the big man did not listen to David. David proceeded to mess the big man up. And when he was done defending himself from Mr. Hamwata with an axe, he left the axe and Mr. Hamwata inside the store and he ran away to Ruangwa district. 3 days later, the police had caught him and sent him to Lusaka High Court so that he stands in a trial for murder. David's main complaint to the judges was that Mr. Hamwata came to his store with the intent of malice. He never wanted to reconcile with David, and in fact the police brought some witnesses, the customers that were coming to buy grocery in David's grocery store during the time of the turmoil. They all claimed that yes, David was shouting at Mr. Hamwata to leave the store, but Mr. Hamwata denied. And it's Mr. Hamwata who began the fight, and David felt obligated to defend his life from getting beaten up by Mr. Hamwata and just defending his property, the grocery store. That also literally meant his life and his family's life. That's how he was helping out the side of his family. The judges found David guilty of murder, not manslaughter, which would have been a lesser sentence, but murder, and he was sentenced to death or life in prison. The judges gave a reason to why they gave him such a harsh sentence, and that was, okay, he was trying to defend himself, defend his life, his property, but he could have hit Mr. Amwata with the axe in points where Mr. Amwata would have been incapacitated to fight, not dying. He was hitting Mr. Amwata on body parts that guaranteed Mr. Amwata's death. Hit him in the head, chest,